What he just said is absolutely insane, as Calvin De Haan, of all people, has called out the Rangers organization for their mismanagement of players, including himself, and what he had to say will have Rangers fans absolutely fired up. We're going to break it down in this episode of Rangers Digest, but before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. We've had a bunch of new viewers on the channel as of late, so if you aren't subscribed yet, this is the place to be to get all your daily New York Rangers news and stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers. So hit that subscribe button. It is free, but let's dive right into it. Calvin De Haan, this was completely unexpected today, and the day after that, an analyst on ESPN, Mark Messier, called out the Rangers as well. Some of their own players are doing that, and this was absolutely insane to see. The Rangers are skating today ahead of their game tomorrow against the Florida Panthers, one of their last 2 games on the season. And Calvin De Haan, a scratch for the last 18 games. And remember, some of you watching this video might be like, who is Calvin De Haan? Exactly. He hasn't been playing, and he's been healthy scratched a lot, and I disagree with it. I disagreed with it at the beginning, and I thought he was a great pickup at the trade deadline. We'll get into the specifics of stuff, but he was frustrated walking onto the ice this morning, saying he's just wasting time. He's frustrated with how he's been treated. After a conversation with Rangers PR, he decided he will wait until the end of the year to fully address the situation. Now, this from Molly Walker gives us some more insight into what actually happened this morning and the specifics of it. He said something to the effect of, how about the way I've been treated here? It's bleeped. And he was asked if he wanted to talk, and he said yes, and that he would be very transparent. Now, the next thing that transpired, as you got a hint of it from Peter Baugh, was that after coming off the ice and having a conversation with the New York Rangers public relations people who were there, I guess, De Haan decided he wanted to wait until the end of the season so he could get more information. So he said, and Molly Walker confirmed that it was his decision and he was not told by Rangers PR. And he said yes, although really, like, it could have been Rangers PR that just told him to say that. But it was clear that the Blue Shirts didn't want him to talk today, and he was clearly frustrated. And he's been skating this whole time with the team, and he's been a healthy scratch the entire time. And you must be thinking to yourself, who cares about Calvin De Haan, right? He wasn't going to make a difference for this team. He played in 3 games with the New York Rangers since coming over from the trade deadline. And at the time, go back and watch the video. At the trade deadline, I said, this is a good move. I'm excited to see him in the lineup as maybe a 5th or 6th defenseman, right? And I said it was a good move at the time. He is, this season with the Rangers, 2-0-1. He hasn't lost in regulation with the Rangers. 2 of the wins were back-to-back shutouts. Go back and look. Back-to-back shutouts. And if you look at the impact score charts that are out there floating around on Twitter and different models and whatnot, he was one of the best players, top 3 players on the ice, both of those games. And he's been held out of the lineup since. It's almost like they're losing on purpose. I'm starting to really wonder at this point if they were trying to lose on purpose the rest of this year. And you can understand his frustration in saying this stuff. And he came out on Twitter right after this. I want to get right into this, and then we'll get into the fan reaction and stuff. I do want to address this. He did come out on Twitter and clarify some things. I'm going to get into it. It was a long tweet, but he was basically saying that he didn't want it to be this way, and he wanted to hold off to address things at the end of season presser in the locker cleanout day. He wanted to address everything there and his frustrations and the mismanagement of not just him, but other players on the team. And the fact that this has happened tells me, like, this coach has no idea what he's doing with this roster. He doesn't, because Calvin De Haan, if you are really trying to win, Soucy is not the guy that's in the lineup. It should have been De Haan. But anyway, this is what he had to say on Twitter right after this. He says, going to get ahead of this now, I was hoping that I would have been able to express in a scrum setting versus a quote as I was going onto the ice and having it on the internet 30 seconds later. And that's just the day and age we live in at this point. But I said what I said because I am frustrated. And listen, Calvin De Haan does not have to explain himself to anybody. We understand why he feels this way. He should be in the lineup. And they traded for him for a reason, and he's not. And that's the coach's decision, not necessarily the general managers who acquired him. Now, although the general manager, of course, could step in and say something, but he has to have faith in his coach to do the job. But anyway, And any competitor who says that they would be happy in this position would be lying to you. After playing 3 games for the team and going 2-0-1, I thought I maybe would have got an opportunity to jump into the lineup and help win some games. Did I help win those games that I played? Maybe, maybe not, but we still won and collected some crucial points to climb the standings. And this is coming from a player who hasn't played in 18 games since that. The Rangers got to use some points in that time. They've been absolutely abysmal since. And that tweet did not end there. He went on to say, I understand the youth movement in the NHL, and I'm getting older in hockey years, and I may not play every single night. I feel like I can still contribute and help teams win. I know I'm not going to play 20 minutes a night in the role I've been in the past few years, but again, I feel like I can still keep up and help a team in certain facets of the game. I'm not trying to be the villain or gain attention or throw shade on the organization, although, I mean, I know that he's frustrated and he's maybe not trying to throw it on the organization necessarily, but his frustration and how well he's played since being here tells us a lot about the organization. It's not that he's throwing shade on the organization. We can read between the lines. So I would have preferred a scrum setting to chat about, how my time with the Rangers has gone. As a player, you have to respect the lineup decisions, whether you like them or not. It's just been frustrating not being able to compete and do what I love to do. I hope everyone understands. And listen, I want to be the first to say, at least in my opinion, this guy doesn't have to explain himself to anybody. He's come over to the Rangers in a trade at the trade deadline, played very well, picked up crucial points, never lost in regulation, looked good in the games. By all accounts, eye test the impact score charts, and has been scratched since. It's almost like they're trying to lose on purpose. I'm going to keep saying it because things are going to start coming to light, especially locker cleanout day, which is coming up later this week because the Rangers are not making the playoffs. So some fan reaction as well, and not necessarily fan reaction, but just fan reaction to the situation going on. And Johnny Lazarus says Calvin De Haan doesn't owe the Rangers anything, so I'm very excited to hear what he has to say about what he's experienced. You have to think there are others around the organization who have similar sentiments, but might not feel like they're in a position to speak out. It's nice to see a player willing to speak their mind openly. And one guy that I think about in all of this is Lafreniere. He had a great end of the season last year. Amazing playoffs last year. Great start to this season, and then things just went completely off the rails, and I wonder if he's just fed up with the coaching staff, what be it. But again, very interesting stuff there from Calvin De Haan. And from Phil Kosher, this whole season is like one gigantic toxic stew of negativity, disappointment, and grievance. I've never wanted out more. Don't need a rebuild or a retool. They need to tear it down, essentially. And I mean, I think a lot of fans share this sentiment. I see a ton of this online on X. In the comments, you guys have been very vocal. I see a ton of it that, and let me know what you think about all of this, of course, and how you feel about it. But I've seen a lot of this is one of the worst seasons in the last 20 years, almost 30 years, right? I've seen a lot of that. That speaks volumes to what we're seeing right now with this team. So it's been absolutely crazy. And his feelings are totally justified. It's odd that De Haan was scratched for 18 consecutive games while Carson Soucy makes mistakes on almost every single shift. He takes and continues playing, crushing it, Peter Laviolette. But yeah, there is a lot to dissect there. But we will leave it there. We'll wrap up there. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. I think a lot is about to come to light with this team, especially with Laviolette getting fired. We know it's coming to that point. I'll have some more updates for you guys tomorrow in terms of what's happening in the game. There are, of course, I'll mention it here, but I want to make another video on it. Braden Schneider has been shut down for the season. He's done. He was dealing with an upper body injury. And this is the other thing that's absolutely mind-boggling about this team. We knew for the last week and a half they weren't going to make the playoffs because of the hole that they put themselves in. And I wonder if they put themselves there on purpose to get the coach fired. I'm going to keep saying it, but their play suggests that. This guy was playing through an upper body injury. He needs time off to heal to see if they'd make the playoffs. We knew they weren't going to make the playoffs. Why would he be? Anyway, I know you weren't mathematically eliminated. I get all of that stuff. You weren't going to make the playoffs anyway. Gabe Perreault should be in the lineup. Brendan Othman should be in the lineup. And Braden Schneider, if he's hurt, take him out of the lineup so he doesn't make anything worse. But anyway, looks like they're getting some more youth in the lineup. Matthew Robertson has been recalled. He should play tomorrow. I'm going to touch on this a little bit more in a video tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And they have some other very interesting lineup decisions and roster moves that they're making ahead of tomorrow's game as well. But I'll leave that as a tease for tomorrow's video. But let me know in the comments what you think about Calvin De Haan voicing his frustrations. I think a lot of other players share the same sentiment. It looks like it just boiled over for him today. He clarified some things, and I don't think that he needs to explain to any of the Rangers fans what he's feeling right now. I think all Rangers fans can identify with what he's feeling, and I think there's a lot of other players on the team that are probably feeling the same way, and it just makes no sense. He was 2-0-1 in the 3 games he played, one of the best players on the ice. Yes, he's getting older. He doesn't have to play every game, but he's been scratched for the last 18 in a row. Makes absolutely no sense. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.